Hello there. Thanks for joining us on another edition of your Q Sports Show on Ascent Television. My name is Judy Olaniran. Great to be back once again. Yes, on the menu today, we'll be looking at the World Championship. That's the World Snooker Championship updates we've got for you. And of course, we'll be looking at also the World Pool Masters draw. It's out. And not forgetting the Snooker and Pool Players Alliance series. That's the challenge series. It went down over the weekend, and there's so much to talk about as far as that is concerned. So if you're ready to go, then let's get along. Okay. All right. Let's just go on a break for the news round, and when we return, we will start the program poll. Welcome back, straight to the business of the day. And joining me as usual is Joakim Idada, who is my analyst on a regular, and of course is also the president of the Snooker and Pool Players Alliance of Nigeria. Joe, great to have you on the show.
Jude, it's nice being here as usual. I think the weekend was good when it comes to Q Sports because the World Snooker Championship is ongoing. Today is the finals, and Jude Trump is playing Rocket himself. I won't say Jude Trump has a lot of. I won't say Rocket has a lot of fans in Nigeria. Quite a number of people, snooker players in Nigeria, always feel upset by his attitude, his arrogance when it comes to snooker. You know, Rocket looks. The status of Rocket in snooker is similar to the status of what's his name, Taylor. In darts. Right. Phil Taylor in darts. So there's this arrogance because at the end of the day, I think young boys. Last 2 weeks we did discuss. We're hoping that the young boys will come to stage in this particular event. But it is as if there was no chance for them.
They can't go. They can't just. It's too early to get crashed.
It's too early to get that. The big boys held their own.
I must give it to them, especially to the big boys. But this is what I would pay to watch any day anyway. I wouldn't have asked for more than having the Rocket on one side and Jude Trump on the other side. Really, and that is what the final is presenting.
Two generations of snooker players. The good thing about it, the talking point, one of the major talking points of this particular event is that at the semi-finals, it was an all-European event. And everybody, the 4 players in the semi-finals were former world champions. You had Jude Trump, you had Mark Williams, you had John Higgins, and you had Rocket. Jude Trump won the World Championship in 2019. Mark Williams won the World Championship, or the last time Jude Trump won the World Championship in 2019. Mark Williams won in 2018. Ronnie Sullivan won in 2020, and the Scottish man John Higgins won. The last time he won is 2011. So he's the oldest one on the block in this particular event. Unfortunately, he could not survive the firepower of Ronnie in the semi-finals, and that particular match ended 17-11. And remember that it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
That's why
so if you see the format was not pretty easy because at the semi-finals it was best. The semi-final was best of 33 frames. The finals is best of 35 frames. Men don't think it's easy playing at that level.
It's also showed, and before the break for the final that the concluding parts that exactly the ongoing final, that's what we call it. Was obvious on the players, the 2 players, especially for Rocket. Rocket was already tired.
He was tired, he was struggling.
But it's good that he left it off on a good note before the break anyway.
That is where experience comes to play. Sometimes, as a young one, like, okay, if we do a rundown of how it all went down from the quarterfinals or for the second round all the way to the quarterfinals, then we're the semifinals. And now we are in the finals. We are all looking forward to who is going to be crowned the 2022 World Snooker Championship. In the quarterfinals, Jack Page, initially we thought he was going to cause an upset. In the second round, we thought he was going to cause an upset against Mark Williams. And Mark Williams proved that even though he is an old one on the block, he was not tired. And that match ended 13-3. Then we now had Zhao Zitong playing against another great, and that's Stevie Maguire, and the match ended 39. Mark Allen played against the brat himself, Rocket. We call him, everybody knows who he is, as Ronnie Sullivan, and he ended 13-11. He does not have a lot of fans, essentially, because of his attitude. And in that particular round, that is the second round, that was where Yao Big Tongue was able to defeat the current world champion, preventing him from defending his world championship at the in this particular event. And that particular match ended 13-10. Close match. We had initially hoped that this particular world championship will be the first time an Asian or a Chinese was going to win the world championship. History was not written. It was definitely not happening. John Higgins played against Nopon, and that match ended 13-7. Stuart Bingham played against Karen Wilson, and Stuart Bingham lost that particular match, and Neil Robinson played against Jack Lewinsky, and match ended in favor of Jack Lewinsky.
Because of time, let me quickly ask you a question. So maybe we should zero in on the fact that, of course, we have two finals, and this particular this event en route to the finals. The big boys, especially the players, have been complaining about how boring the game. Some are even getting tired. But with 35 frames in the final, do you think this is the way to go, or we need to?
Every sport is unique. Yes. What do we want to define as boring? Yes, in football you have fans shouting, screaming, and yelling, and all of that motivational action. When you're having some kind of sport, basketball, that's those big team sports. But when it comes to mind sports, mind and precision sports, some of those noise become something like a distraction to the players. So when they say it is boring as in what? That is the first question I will always want to ask myself. And remember again that Q sports, all the billiard sports, whether it's pool, whether it's snooker, whether it's cushion, all of them, they are mind sports. They are very, 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 very intellectual. And so, because of their nature, to some extent, you need some high level of concentration. So every form of distraction needs to be eliminated. So even in that, some of those dart players that you see, they are wearing earplugs, so that some of the things that is going out among the spectators will not distract them. Now, even in that, you can see the way what's his name, Dewey Price. He's not he's not a fan's favorite. So whenever he plays, most of the time the fans end up booing him. Even Mighty Mike, that's Van Geeuwen. The same thing. So if you have that kind of challenge in mind and precision sports, to a great extent, there must be a way we must control the crowd so that it will not affect the performance of the player. So when they say it's boring. I tend not to agree.
Well, but just like I said, it's just like an update of what is happening. We want to wish.
But one thing, there is also a consideration that is ongoing that the players are claiming that the crucible, we will call the Mecca, the Kaaba of snooker. There's already this opinion and this argument that it has become too small. 980 something spectators. They are looking for a bigger venue. Okay. So, and you remember that the Sheffield City Council has offered the WST, that the World Snooker Tour, organizer of the World Championship, they offered them the crucible free of charge. Okay. So they hold that event year to year, free of charge. So what will it take for the City Council to accept a proposal for a possibility where they will remodel, bring it down, expand the place to bring in more fans? Because even right now, as I'm talking to you, they have already started selling the priority tickets.
Yeah, it's for 2023. It's already in the news. It's one of the news
that they have started selling
that's the show.
The fans.
I said that the tour, in fact, I remember on this show we've always said, it's like it appears that the tournament is like it's for all the organizers, whether it is the World Snooker Tour or whether it's all the Q games. It's like they just want to jam-pack. They pack the calendar with events.
There must be events.
So when you leave your home, maybe probably on January 1st,
you might not come back till the next January.
So it's like,
or your family goes around with you.
Yeah, exactly. So that is why it's exactly, and that means for that means there is a demand for.
There's a demand for this event.
So that's why the expansion. Because good for us, especially for those who are in the business. I think we need more of them. Although the players might be feeling otherwise, but for we reporting, we need more of these games. Okay, Joe, let's quickly look at before we look at the next one, which is the World Pool Masters draw, let's talk about the fact that there is the ranking, which most of the top players will be featuring in the Masters too. So let's talk about the 9-ball pool ranking.
Yes.
What is it looking like from your perspective? Yeah, and also why you're telling us that how many of those guys are we going to be seeing in just a few days from now? There will be the World Pool Masters. How many of them?
Among the top 10, there's only one player. Amongst the top 10, there's only one player that I can visibly see that is not featuring that is not going to play in the rank in the
World Pool
Masters, and that is his rank number 3, and that's David Akada.
Okay.
Great player, wonderful competence, great experience he will have brought to the table. I don't know why he's not listed, or maybe I won't call him. He'll come in later. But that is how some of these events take place.
But it's like the draw for that has already been made. Talking about the draw for the event.
Yes.
So if he's not missing, I'm not quite sure, but if he's missing, that means that
maybe it's because what we saw that they published does not show that. But if we go through let's just quickly go through the ranking right now. Okay. Rank number 1 is Sean Van Boeing. Remember, from the USA. He won the US Open, and that shot him to number 1. Then we have Akeda, the Austrian, Alban Oshin, the Austrian, is ranked number 2. We have David Akeda, who is from Spain. He's ranked number 3. We have Carlos Biado. He's from the Philippines. He is ranked number 3. 5. Rank number 5 is Max Lechner from Austria, and we have on number 6 is Aloysius Yap from Singapore. 7 is Naoki Oi. I love watching him play. Unique style, very, very interesting player. Very interesting and very determined when he's on the table. We have Alexander Kazakis from Greece. I love watching him. I think was it one of the event when he lost in 2019. I can't remember the event, but he won the next year. And as he won, he jumped on the table out of excitement because he didn't want the experience of the previous year. Because that's Alexander Kazakis, his number 8. We have the German, Joshua Filet, young boy, interesting player, very, very trickish, cunning, but he's ranked number 9. And we have from Chinese Taipei, we have Chang Junlin. From China, he's ranked number 10. And some of these players are going to feature in the World Pool Masters, and that is good.
By the way, the World Pool Masters is going to run all through from
May 5th
of May to the 8th. Yep, so it's going to be massive at the Gibraltar. That's where it's going to...
Gibraltar is becoming like... Gibraltar is like they are using sports to really drive their tourism. I know Gibraltar has hosted quite a number, is hosting quite a number of major sporting events. It's like, for me, as far as I'm concerned, it's like you have medical tourism that India is making so much from. Exactly. Gibraltar is now becoming the go-to place for some major events. You see that has their event there. We are waiting to hear Gulf announcing that they will also have a major one in Gibraltar.
Now, back to the issue of India that you just said too. There are fantastic players there too. Talking about Q Sports.
Yes, they are very good. They are very good.
In fact, they are in a world of their own, just like the Chinese too are also. And I begin to see that the way this game is developing, the way the game is growing in terms of massive followership and all that, the way it's going, I'm afraid I just don't want Africa to be left out. And I don't want a situation where it will, even out of Africa, it will end up being South Africa against the rest of Africa too.
Most Q Sports seems to be developing in blocks. When it comes to Q Sports, one thing I know about snooker, the Indians, snooker is very popular among the Indians, so they play very well, but it's unfortunate that they've not come to the world stage. One of the issues you have in some of these things is because of travel logistics. It's not very easy for this. If you are not a European and you are not within the European bloc, it's very difficult for you to easily travel all the way and throughout the whole year for you to go through the tour. But if you choose to relocate to Europe, you understand, then you stand a chance. That is why, but I know one thing, that you have pretty great players in India. And like when it comes to pool, you have great players in Philippines. We will not forget the almighty, I will call him the Pele of pool, and that's Ephraim himself. We know these are great players.
At some point, it was we had to. If we once featured him on the show.
So on the show, yeah. But the Pool Masters, it's the World Pool Masters, 9 Pool Masters that have been put together by Matchroom Pool. Everybody's looking forward to it. Among the major players or the top players that is going to feature in that event, we have people like Alexander Kazakis, like I told you. Sean Van Boom is going to be playing. Alban Ocean is going to be playing. Oh, I missed it. Sorry. David Akada. I'm seeing that he's going to play. I'm just seeing the record.
Because I was
He's going to play. He's going to play. So let's correct that right now. He's going to play. David Akada is going to play. Max Linux is going to play. Afoso Yap is going to play. Naoki Oye is going to play. Joshua Filet is going to play.
So all the top 9 on the
all
ranking
of them, they are all going to be there. Yeah, but the new people that are those who are not very popular amongst them that we know are. For me, I look forward to seeing the Kuwaiti Abdullah Yassaf. We watched him. I think we watched him in the US Open. In the US Open. He held his own. As far as I was concerned, he held his own. He was not intimidated. And he's going to be there. And they published the preliminary features. Matches that we need to look forward to in the preliminary rounds will be the Frenchman, that's Neil Fiji, who will be playing Abdullah Al Yusuf. And Jesse Sean, who was the most valuable player in the 2019 Mosconi Cup, is going to play Moscow Fortuski. We have Oliver Zonowski is going to play the US, the American. Before I said the US, the American Skylar Woodwork. Watched Skylar, remember, watched him in the Moscone Cup where he represented the United States of America. And we have the well-known Eklan Kasi. I don't know, I had expected Eklan Kasi to be among the top 9-ball pool players in the world. Unfortunately, as Matchroom is pumping more money into 9-ball pool, more and more players are coming on board. And he's not, I won't say he's not doing well. He's doing his best. But he'll be playing Dennis Okello. Those are the matches we need to watch in the preliminary.
This might be, like you just mentioned, this might be his time. Who knows? It's open anyway. I know that beside the top players, we might see some dark horse,
some upsets, some major upsets.
All right, we'll go on a break now because you know what we do. At this point, we'll take a break for our player of the week. Yes, our player of the week is one of those top players on the women's circuit. Talking about pool circuits, though. And then she's a member of the British Empire. And Rhian Evans, 37 years, started playing this game, and around 11 years, that's what it means to catch them young. Player Spotlight is on R today. Rhian Evans. We'll be back.